I'm sorry. That was acting. That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that. I can't imagine. I mean, Christian, you tell me.
Because Ellie still looks and acts like a 14-year-old from season 1, even though she's supposed to be 19.
We just had to not like each other for a bit.
You had to not like me, which came easy.
So easy.
Like most people, I liked the first season. I thought they did a great job. Season 2, I was skeptical on them not recasting Ellie and keeping Bella Ramsey as Ellie because it's supposed to take place 5 years into the future, but obviously Bella Ramsey in real life was not going to age that much in, the 2 years it took between seasons. So in the show, Ellie still looks exactly the same, but is supposed to be 5 years older. Also, Ellie still acts exactly the same.
It was supposed to be the biggest success story in TV history. The Last of Us shattered records, dominated award shows, and turned Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey into global icons almost overnight. But behind the scenes, a storm was brewing. And now, the truth is spilling out. The Last of Us 2 wasn't just a disappointment. It was a full-blown disaster. Fans abandoned the show in droves, critics shredded the writing, and social media became a battlefield of blame. But no one saw this coming, because after months of deafening silence, Pedro Pascal has finally broken his silence. And insiders say he's pointing the finger directly at his co-star, Bella Ramsey. The once untouchable dynamic between TV's most iconic duo is crumbling. Their red carpet smiles, fake, their on-screen chemistry, strained. And now, with the bombshell news that The Last of Us 3 has been quietly canceled, the internet is exploding with questions. Did Bella's casting doom the franchise from the start? Was the writing always destined to alienate fans? Or is Bella simply the latest victim of a franchise that lost its way? Today, we're breaking down the entire messy, shocking downfall, from the behind-the-scenes tension to Pedro Pascal's rumored betrayal, and how The Last of Us went from unstoppable to undeniably canceled. And trust me, the drama is just getting started.
For some reason, they made the decision for The Last of Us Season 2 to make Ellie dumb, to the point where she even says that she's stupid. Why? That just kind of betrays the character.
You changed up your impression at all, or is it pretty much the same?
Well, the noise is the same. I've not got any more noises in my back pocket. The new infected are pretty terrifying. They're so smart, and they haven't really got a noise. That's the whole point of them. They're silent and terrifying.
Ooh, give us a little silent and terrifying.
Bella Ramsey couldn't hold back the tears. It all came crashing down just days after the devastating news broke. HBO had quietly canceled The Last of Us 3, marking the official end of what was once considered the streaming giant's crown jewel. And for Bella, the fallout was deeply personal. Paparazzi cameras caught the moment. Bella leaving a high-profile charity event in London, her eyes red, her face visibly shaken, as her team scrambled to shield her from the press. But the damage was already done. The photos flooded social media within minutes, fueling speculation and reigniting the debate that has haunted Bella for years. But sources close to the situation say the show's cancellation wasn't the only reason Bella was so emotional that night. What hit her hardest? Pedro Pascal's silence finally ending. And the message? Brutal and crystal clear. For months, Pedro had refused to publicly address the backlash surrounding Bella's portrayal of Ellie. Even as fan forums lit up with harsh criticism and hashtags like #NotMyEllie trended worldwide, Pedro kept his distance, offering no public support, no defense, not even a word. Many assumed it was to avoid fueling the fire. But now, insiders reveal it was far more calculated than that. According to multiple sources close to the production, Pedro has been frustrated, disillusioned, and completely fed up with how the franchise has been handled. And Bella's involvement, intentional or not, has become the focal point of his frustration. And after months of whispers, leaks, and awkward public appearances, Pedro's silence finally broke. With industry insiders confirming that he's privately laying the blame on HBO's casting choices, and by extension, on Bella herself. For Bella, who has faced relentless criticism since day one, the realization that her own co-star may have turned against her, it was the final blow. In many ways, the writing was on the wall long before Season 2 even premiered. From the moment Bella Ramsey's casting as Ellie was announced, the fanbase was divided. And in the world of The Last of Us, That's a dangerous place to be. Some fans championed Bella's unique look and raw acting style, but others, they were far less forgiving. Social media exploded with heated debates, harsh memes, and endless comparisons to the beloved video game character. Forums lit up with accusations that Bella didn't look the part, that her portrayal lacked the emotional depth, and that HBO had sacrificed authenticity for the sake of political correctness. But things escalated dramatically after The Last of Us 2 finally aired. The backlash was swift and brutal. Viewership numbers plummeted with each passing episode. Hardcore fans staged boycotts, furious over Joel's controversial storyline and the show's increasingly preachy tone. Even casual viewers tuned out, calling the show unrecognizable compared to its critically acclaimed first season. And at the center of the storm, Bella Ramsey. The hashtags tell the story. Not My Ellie, recast Bella, TLOU 2 disaster. All trending worldwide within days of the premiere. And behind the scenes, tensions were boiling over. According to a leaked report from an anonymous production source, Pedro Pascal was livid. The usually diplomatic actor reportedly believes that the franchise's downfall isn't just the result of bad luck or creative risks. It's the inevitable outcome of what he called poor leadership, creative missteps, and questionable casting. A thinly veiled shot at Bella that insiders say sent shockwaves through the production. For fans, it was the ultimate betrayal. Seeing the cracks between the co-stars widen in real time. For HBO, it was a PR nightmare spiraling out of control. And for Bella, it was the harshest reality check of all. The very franchise that was supposed to launch her career into superstardom had become her biggest burden. But the drama didn't stop there. In recent weeks, eagle-eyed fans noticed something strange. Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, once inseparable during the Season 1 press tour, are now nowhere to be seen together. Red carpet events, they arrive separately. Social media, Pedro has been eerily silent about Bella, fueling speculation that the co-stars are no longer on good terms. Rumors swirled that HBO deliberately kept them apart during promotional events to avoid awkward moments and uncomfortable questions from the press. And at the highly anticipated Season 2 premiere, the tension was impossible to ignore. Pedro and Bella barely made eye contact. They posed for photos with other cast members, but never together. For fans, the message was clear. The fallout isn't just happening behind the scenes, it's written all over their faces. The cracks in the facade started long before cameras rolled. Industry insiders have now come forward, revealing that tension between Pedro Pascal and HBO executives had been brewing ever since Season 2 went into production. And at the heart of it, Bella Ramsey's casting and the show's increasingly woke direction. Multiple sources claim Pedro raised concerns early on, reportedly questioning the decision to double down on divisive storylines from the video game sequel, and whether Bella could carry the emotional weight of such a controversial season. But those concerns fell on deaf ears. As filming progressed, crew members described an atmosphere of awkwardness and underlying frustration on set. Pedro, known for his professionalism, kept things civil. But those close to the production say the actor's patience was wearing thin. And with the franchise's reputation on the line, it didn't take long for private frustrations to spill into the public eye. It was supposed to be a victory lap. The highly anticipated Season 2 premiere of The Last of Us should have been a celebration. But instead, it turned into a PR nightmare. Fans quickly noticed the tension as the cast arrived at the event. Pedro Pascal, usually the life of the party, looked distant, detached, and very clearly avoiding Bella Ramsey. Body language experts on social media had a field day, breaking down every awkward glance, every stiff smile, and the obvious space between the two leads. And behind closed doors, HBO executives were reportedly scrambling to keep the press under control. Sources say they begged Pedro to post supportive messages about Bella and the show. But he refused. The message was clear. The once beloved on-screen duo was fractured, and fans were watching it unravel in real time. And then, the numbers came in. Within days of its release, The Last of Us 2 saw a catastrophic drop in viewership. Hardcore fans boycotted the show over Joel's shocking fate. Casual viewers tuned out after what they called preachy, forced storylines. HBO's Golden Child had officially become a cautionary tale. Memes mocking the show flooded Reddit and Twitter. YouTube breakdowns dissected every misstep. Hashtags like TLOU, to disaster, and cancel Bella Ramsey began trending. And amidst the chaos, Pedro Pascal stayed eerily quiet. fueling rumors that even he had lost faith in the project. HBO, desperate to salvage the situation, canceled press appearances, pulled back on marketing, and quietly shelved The Last of Us 3. For a franchise that once dominated pop culture, it was a devastating fall from grace. Just when the situation couldn't get any worse, Bella Ramsey lit the fuse on an entirely new controversy. It started with a simple tweet, but the fallout was massive. In a post that quickly went viral, Bella shared her political views on one of the most divisive global issues of the year. The backlash was instant. Fans who were already frustrated with her performance now accused her of being unprofessional and distracting from the show. But the real shock came from inside the production. According to insiders, Pedro Pascal was livid. Sources close to the actor say he was frustrated with how Bella handled the press, calling her social media posts reckless and damaging to the already fragile reputation of the series. Fan petitions demanding Bella be recast gained thousands of signatures. Hashtags like #RecastEllie trended on Twitter. And HBO? They were stuck, caught between angry fans, messy PR, and a cast at war with itself. But Pedro Pascal didn't lash out publicly. He didn't need to. Instead, fans noticed subtle, calculated moves that spoke volumes. First, eagle-eyed followers realized Pedro had unfollowed Bella on Instagram, or at least never followed her back after season 1. Then came the cryptic interviews. When asked about returning for a potential Last of Us 3, Pedro dodged the question. Instead of excitement, he gave vague, rehearsed answers, hinting that he wasn't committed to sticking around if the franchise continued down its current path. Fans dissected every word, every awkward pause, convinced that behind the scenes, Pedro was quietly distancing himself from the drama and from Bella. Meanwhile, Bella's post became increasingly defensive, but the damage was done. The cracks in their on-screen chemistry were now visible to the entire world. The downfall wasn't just about casting or politics, or even Pedro and Bella's rumored feud. It was about a franchise that forgot what made it special. Die-hard fans slammed HBO for turning The Last of Us into what they called a woke disaster. Bella's past interviews resurfaced. Clips where she downplayed fan concerns and called the original game's story outdated spread like wildfire. Longtime viewers accused her of disrespecting the very legacy she was cast to represent. And it wasn't just the fans. Neil Druckmann, the creator of the series, faced relentless criticism for steering the show in a direction many believed alienated the core fanbase. HBO's Golden Goose was now the subject of internet mockery, fan outrage, and industry whispers of failure. The Last of Us, once untouchable, was now another example of Hollywood's obsession with fixing what wasn't broken, and paying the price. As the dust settled, the final blow came swiftly and without warning. HBO, once proud to parade The Last of Us as its next global phenomenon, quietly pulled the plug on Season 3. No flashy announcement, no redemption arc, just a cold corporate statement blaming creative differences and fan reception. But everyone knew the real story. Bella Ramsey vanished from social media, her accounts locked down, her team working overtime to control the narrative. Public sightings became rare. Interview requests declined. Meanwhile, Pedro Pascal, silent, distant, done. Industry insiders say Pedro has already shifted focus to other projects, a clear sign that, for him, The Last of Us is in the rearview mirror. And for fans, the heartbreak cuts deep. What started as a faithful, gripping adaptation collapsed under the weight of bad decisions, backstage drama, and a cast divided. The franchise that once ruled pop culture is now the cautionary tale of how fast success can crumble. From viral social media scandals to shocking betrayals behind the scenes, from record-breaking hype to a historic disaster that no one saw coming, The Last of Us was supposed to be different. Untouchable, the golden child of video game adaptations. Instead, it became the very thing it swore to never be. Another overhyped Hollywood flameout, plagued by controversy, destroyed by ego, and buried under the weight of impossible expectations. But let me tell you something. This story, it's far from over. Because when billion-dollar studios clash with furious fans, when reputations crumble and careers teeter on the edge, when the fallout from The Last of Us Part 2 and the brutal cancellation of The Last of Us Part 3 still echo across Hollywood, you better believe the real drama is only just beginning. Behind closed doors, the power plays have already started. In secret boardrooms, the future of this franchise hangs by a thread. And for the stars caught in the middle, The battle for their careers has never been more ruthless. So, what happens next? Do the fans finally get the redemption they've been screaming for? Or does this once unstoppable franchise fade into nothing but scandal and regret? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. In Hollywood, it never forgets. And it never forgives. Stay tuned.